right, welcome to Gen X Rated Tuesday edition. How we doing, guys?
Good, man. I'm just happy Gene is back among us after his fucking odyssey slash adventure slash I don't even know what that was this weekend. So I'm glad he's here among us.
Good to
It
see
was
you,
my
Gino.
Kentucky version of Get Out.
Yeah.
Spent a whole weekend like freaking out, waiting for people to kill me. So
You were close to seeing your brother in Nashville, and somehow you blew a tire in Kentucky somewhere.
yes, my plan was I did not. Oh shit! My brother's giving me a signal for something. Never mind. Anyway, yeah, I was in Nashville, or I was in Cleveland, and he's like, "Let's go to Nashville," and I'm like, "I'm gonna drive," and it's on me, dude. I can't even get mad about it because I just got my last tire rotation at tires, one of those tire stores, and they're like, these tires have no more rotations in them. You've got maybe, 1,000 miles, a couple thousand miles on them, and they're cooked. You got to change them out. I figured I had one more trip in me, and I was in Hillbilly, Kentucky, and just had a tire blowout. I went from 42 psi down to 25 psi in a matter of like 10 seconds, and then all of a sudden it was down to 10 psi and then 7 psi. Torrential rainstorm. I had to get out. I had an air compressor, and I just kept putting air in. Like I'd put 10 psi in, and I would drive a couple miles, and I'd get out. I had to do that for 10 miles.
Dude.
Weasel my way to a tire store in some hillbilly town in Kentucky, and they were getting ready to close, and I'm like, "Can you repair it?" And he's like, "These tires," and I already knew the tires they were unrepairable. The sidewalls were shot. So they were like, "No." I'm like, "Do you have a replacement?" He's like, "Let me check." He's like, "No, hey, we can have 4 tires here Monday." And I literally looked at him. I'm like, "Where am I?" Because I didn't even know, dude. I just punched in tire store and just followed the navigation, and he told me. And I was just in some city in Kentucky, which I'd never really heard of. And I had to basically spend the weekend there. So I had to call a cab. First, I called a Lyft, or I ordered a Lyft, and they were taking like an hour to get there. I'm sitting in my car waiting. The tire store's closed. I'm just sitting there alone in my car, and the Lyft's not coming. And so I Googled cab companies, and I ordered a cab. And this cabbie comes and gets me. Probably a meth head, who knows? I mean, it was a Kia Soul, and I'm like, dude, I just need a place to stay. I don't know where I am. I don't even know what town I'm in. Just get me somewhere near a restaurant and, somewhere decent. He's like, I have a great place, man. I go to this place all the time. I have relations with my wife. There's no bed bugs, Dude, you have to understand, if I'm thinking normal, I'm like, nah, man, just take me to a Holiday Inn Express. But I'm soaking wet. I've just spent like a couple hours I'm like, man, just take me to a hotel, man. Somewhere where I can walk to a restaurant and eat. So he takes me to this place that rents daily and weekly. So when they rent weekly, watch out. And so I walked in, and it was 2 kids are working. I walk in, there's like a 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, and I'm like, hey, what's up? I need a room. And the cab guy left, and so they took like a half an hour to check me and filled all this paperwork, took my driver's license, and they're like, sorry, it's taking so long. We don't normally work. Mom's out of town or whatever for the weekend. I'm like, no problem, man. I just need a room. So they give me a key for room 218, and I go, where's 218? And so the 12-year-old points me to the wrong building. I walk up the stairs with all my luggage. There's no 218. It goes to 210. I'm like, what? And so I walk downstairs. I'm like, it's raining. I'm getting rained on the whole time. I'm just annoyed. I'm like, where's 218? And they're like, we're not sure. I'm like, how do you not know where you're? Whatever. And then they figured it out. And I went up, and I got my room, and then I, changed my clothes, all my wet clothes, and then I walked down to this bar called Chalupa's by myself, had a couple beers and some dinner, walked home on Saturday night. It was fine. Went to bed, no problems, no noise, no whatever. And then the next day I got up, took a walk. It was Sunday, walked around, just did stuff, got some pizza. Came back and started watching basketball. And then later that night, all of a sudden, about 10 o'clock that night, some guys running around banging on doors, asking for a guy named Chris. He wasn't banging on my door. And so I was just kind of ignoring it. He was kind of yelling the N-word and just kind of being obnoxious. I don't know if he was black or white. He just seemed frustrated and flustered and upset. And then by the time he finally stopped at 1 in the morning, I fell asleep. And then I'm in REM sleep. I'm sleeping hard. I'm sleeping well. And then at 3:32 in the morning, this dude knocks on my door like it's SWAT. And it was terrifying. He just bangs on my door hard as hell. And I literally woke up from a dead sleep, jumped out of my bed, grabbed my 9mm, and I'm like, what? I just screamed, what? And he's like, is Chris there? And I ran over to the door. I'm like, no, click, clack, these bullets are here. Get away from my door. And he's like, all right. And he walked away. I'm like, I don't know what that was, but I mean, dude, just boom, 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 just obnoxious. And so I was completely freaked out the rest of the night, sleeping with a friggin' gun in my bed, loaded, next to me, not in the holster, ready to shoot through the door, going, where am I and how do I get out? And so I didn't sleep the rest of the night. I woke up the next day and went to order a Lyft. I pre-ordered a Lyft to make sure it was there and paid like 3 times as much, $40 for like a 5-minute ride. And so the Lyft shows up 15 minutes early. So I quickly pack and I run down to the office to get my $50 incidental that I paid in cash that these 2 kids made me pay and fill out all this paperwork and wait a half an hour. And the mom's back from out of town. I'm like, yeah, I'm here to turn in my key and get my $50 back in incidentals. And she's like, let me look for the paperwork. She's a South Asian woman. And she's like half-assed looking for the paperwork. She's not really looking for the paperwork.
Yeah.
And I look at her, I'm like, look, lady, my Lyft is here. My time is money. I paid you a $50 incidental. It says right on the wall, you can't even get a key without paying an incidental. I'm like, give me my money. And she's like, I can't find the paperwork, and I wasn't here this time. And I wasn't here this week. And I'm like, that's a you problem. I paid my money. Give me my $50. And then I started getting a little flustered. I'm like, give me my money now. You're upsetting me. And she's like, no, you're yelling at me. And I looked over and I saw a package that had just been delivered from UPS or DHL or somebody. I'm like, you're not gonna give me $50? I'm like, all right, cool. Boom. And I just grabbed the package. She's like, that's mine. I'm like, no, it's not yours anymore, lady. It's mine now. And I walked out and she's like, I'm calling the cops. I'm like, call the cops.
Great. It'll cost you $50.
See you later. And I got in the car and we started Ubering away. And then all of a sudden I got a sense of panic in me and going, oh my God, I just freaking took this lady's package. So immediately I ripped the package open, got to the tire store, changed all my clothes out, took my hat off, changed everything out, and threw the package away. It was a $10 pair of jeans from Temu, so I didn't even get my money back. And about 2 hours later, they had my new tires, and I was on my way to Nashville, dude. It was a nightmare. Man. I will never stay in Kentucky again. I will never go to Kentucky again. These people are just based. What a debased, whatever. They're nonsensical. So wow. It is what it is. I got out of there. I got to Nashville. Realized it was St. Patty's Day when I'm rolling into town. Traffic jam. Park in the wrong parking garage. I follow my navigation, puts me in the parking garage. Walk 30 minutes to the hotel with my luggage. That's why I showed you how many steps I had yesterday.
Yeah.
Sweet talked myself into getting a key from the manager because Jason wasn't there, my brother. She gave me a key. I went upstairs, changed my clothes. I went and found Jason at Jason Aldean's honky tonk bar or something. Walked another 25 minutes to find that. And then my brother quickly informs me, you parked at the wrong parking garage, dummy. So later that night, we literally had to walk back to the parking garage and get out of that parking garage. I had to pay $35 because I had prepaid for another parking garage.
Oh, fun.
And then I found the right parking garage. got it all settled. Had a great time last night. I'm not gonna lie. Nashville's fantastic. Kentucky's terrible. I've never been to the Kentucky Derby. I don't know what that's like, but overall, Kentucky was horrible. Nashville's been great. Had a great time, and I'm just glad I'm here. And I got one more night here, and I got 2 nights in, and I can't complain. I can't complain about anything, dude. I'm the one who didn't just get new tires before I went on the trip. It's on me. It is what it is. But I got out of there. I didn't shoot anybody. It was scary. That's the closest I've ever come in my life to literally shooting a dude.
Well, and from being dead sleep to have that pounding, I mean, the adrenaline's up.
Dude, he was about to get shot. No joke. You don't pound on someone's door at 3:30 in the morning like that. I mean, can you imagine if I pounded on your door at the Falcon Inn like that, going, "It's That's actually happened before. But,
Rob can tell you what happens when you do that.
Yeah,
that's
insane. But Nashville's great. It's a lot different than I haven't been here in 20 years probably since I retired. It's fantastic. It's just littered with bars down in a certain area.
Good shops and bars on every corner.
Yeah,
and tons of live music.
Today we went to the African American Music Museum. Spent a couple hours there. Fantastic. Learned a lot about a lot of stuff I didn't know about music. It's just how I realized church is good for one thing. Religion's good for one thing. It gave us good black music because that's where that shit all started. I mean, it didn't start there. It started with, slaves, spirituals, and all that stuff. But eventually, it progressed, and it was just an amazing story. We had a really good time. I learned a lot. Spirituals to ragtime to jazz to blues to rock and roll to hip hop. It was just it was a very it was interactive thing. You put headphones on. You could we went to a studio and had a rap battle a little bit. Neither one of us can rap worth a shit because we're from Nebraska. It was really cool. And then I drank about 40 beers before we started this podcast, but they're all Corona Lights. So I'm good, man.
Nice.
I've talked enough. Now you guys say something. What the
Well,
hell?
I'm just glad you made it.
Talking.
I'm just glad you made it because my first thought was fucking Gene's stuck in a sundown town. We got to get him out of there.
And my brother informed me of that too. Dude, the crazy thing about sundown towns is if you looked at Illinois, former sundown towns, there's more sundown towns in Illinois than anywhere in the country.
Really?
Dude, I believe it.
Because of all, my brother and I were watching the music thing in African American music today, and they were like, in the 1930s, 90% of all black people lived in the South. Only 10% of black people lived away from the South at the time. So, it was racist as hell. But when they started migrating because of music and other things, and they started migrating towards Chicago for the meatpacking plant jobs and all that stuff.
Yep.
All those little towns in Illinois are like, stay out. They all became sundown towns. That's why there's so many former sundown towns in Illinois, because all those people migrated south, migrated north. But
wow.
It was
crazy. I mean, Alpharetta used to be a sundown town, and then that's a lot of the high-paid Falcon players live there. So things can change.
Right.
Very slowly.
But yeah, I'm alive, man. It's all good. No one got shot. Cops haven't caught me. And if she wants her $10 Temu jeans back, she can give me my $50 or,
Dude, they had to pay you $50. I saw the pictures of that place. She should have paid you $50 to stay there.
Dude, I found rice in there, uncooked rice on top of a shelf. I opened up a drawer, saw a bunch of pills that looked about fentanyl size, but I don't know if they were breath mints or fentanyl. So I pulled the whole drawer out, dumped all that shit in the toilet because I didn't want to touch it because I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
The only thing that was new in that place was the carpet, and that was probably because of a former suicide. They had to replace it.
Or a murder suicide.
The last night I was there, I was literally thinking to myself, this carpet's new. I wonder if someone died in here. And I started worrying about a ghost. My last night there was horrible. But
it sounds horrible.
I was so on edge, but I'm here now. It's much better.
Dude, I saw the picture of the refrigerator you sent, and I'm thinking to myself, and I think I even texted it to you. I'm like, not saying it happened yesterday or the day before, but at some point there was probably a human head in that refrigerator.
Oh, dude, the stains on the walls. I sent you a little, there was writing on the wall that was cryptic and weird.
What was that?
I don't know, dude. It was just I would find these little things. I found a diamond earring on the shelf next to a unused rice. I was like, what is going on in this place?
So strange.
So that was my bad, dude. I was just tired and I just wanted a place to sleep. I should have just said Holiday Inn, dude. I don't know what crack you're on, and I don't know how often you bang your wife, but I do not want to be here. I'm glad you bang your wife at this motel, but this is not for me.
Not for me.
I don't know. I have not to this. At first, I thought maybe he's gonna try to roll me later, bring his boys, and that's not gonna
fuck yeah,
because he's gonna get shot. But he was a really nice dude. I think he was just legitimately trying to get me to a motel that didn't have ridiculous fees and taxes and close to food and booze. And I guess I looked low rent enough that's where he took my ass. It's like, oh, you're black. Let me take you here.
He didn't see you get out of your Tesla, apparently.
Yeah, he did. He backed up to the Tesla, so I pushed my luggage out. He knew exactly what I was driving. So,
dude,
it doesn't mean I could be leasing a Tesla. That doesn't mean anything. $390 a month doesn't make you rich.
Yeah,
so,
I'm picturing the cab driver from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh my God!
Remember
proud
that
of
movie?
his town. Okay,
He's proud of his town.
Well,
you
it's
there
over
yet,
now.
Doobie?
I've been having a great time. I had a good night's sleep last night. My brother picked a killer hotel. It's less than a year old. Their grand opening is actually on Thursday. So they did a soft opening in December. Everything is super clean here. The views are spectacular. Like right over here to the right is iHeartRadio's corporate headquarters. I can just see the sign. And Nashville's, it's solid, dude. I don't know. Did they become a tech kind of hub or some shit? How did Nashville start getting big in the last few years?
I think it was just because it was such a destination place. You had like a lot of
live music. And then
live music.
football
A lot
game.
of there's a ton of like bridal parties there.
Oh yeah, our Uber driver had a bridal party right before us, so he was describing that. But
the car smelled pretty good.
Yeah, his car didn't. Yeah, it didn't smell good at all.
But we were there this is probably about 10 years ago for a hockey tournament, and one of our buddies, dude, he got so wasted, and he had really long hair, and he's walking around, his shoes are off, and he looks like Jesus wandering the desert, right? Got the long hair
to mid back, and he also is a Vietnam veteran. So you're talking about a 70 at that time. I think he was probably 69-year-old,
right?
Yeah,
fella. But,
really fit dude though. But he's like, I'm gonna have a heart attack. There's so many beautiful women here. I can't stand it.
Did he have a wife or no? Was he single?
Yeah, he had a wife.
Yeah, they kind of lived separate lives though.
He's not. We're stopping right there. He's not.
He's like, where are you going? He's like, I'm going to a hockey tournament. He put 2 quarts of milk, 2 gallons of milk on the table and said, I'll be back next week.
He's earned that, man.
Yeah, but they're divorced now, so it's okay.
I don't even know that
what's going on in the world.
Allegedly, Billy. We're moving on from that one.
Allegedly.
Well, I could start with a couple things. Maybe I'll do this one instead. It's a little bit lighter. I think we all know about the Kennedy Center, Trumpy Bear and the Kennedy Center, which he's kind of the king of the ratings, which he was telling people he's taking over. He feels that if he becomes the MC there and hosts the ceremony that honors the performers, that it'll be a network bidding war because he's just that popular. He also claimed that he really never liked Hamilton. Okay. So he's given all the opinions on what he thinks. I just want to show you because it got kind of ridiculous. He's up here in this little suite and he's telling them, hey, you like this? And he puts his hands up and just like this. So everybody can get pictures of it. And, I mean, our country's on fire. And this guy wants to direct the ceremonies because I guess it was raining at Mar-a-Lago and he couldn't golf. But
dude, he looks jaundiced.
He already won the club championship last week.
I saw that. Oh my God, did he?
It's probably his
every year.
I think he's going to retire from cheating. So
I think he's going to double down on it and cheat more.
Well, that could be.
I shot an 18 perfect round, holding ones every hole.
I paid no attention to what's been going on the last 4 days.
That's okay. We're gonna keep it. I don't want to say light, but we started with that. I do want to talk about the Alien Enemies Act of
This fucking
1798.
guy.
They're just sweeping people up all over the place. That Alien Enemies Act from 1798 was basically a wartime law. And to keep it simple, you can, if you're at war, you can remove anybody you want basically from the country. So they had this Venezuelan gang. They took all these guys down to Guantanamo. They didn't have a whole lot of say, as in they had none. If you look at any of the videos, they just treated these guys like fucking animals.
Oh yeah.
Here's
It's
another
disturbing.
one. And of course, you know, you listen to the press secretary. Oh, these are criminals. These are the worst people ever. A federal judge did step in because this is the United States of America. You're not supposed to be able to just take people off the street and literally deport them. A federal judge told them that they were blocking his wishes. The planes had already left, and Trump made a big joke about it, saying, you know, he wasn't listening to any judges. Now, they're sent them to El Salvador. It was a Venezuelan gang, I believe, and his whole point was that they do what they want. It was in international waters. The El Salvadorian president tweeted, if you can believe it, but he was like, oops, sorry, too late. So it was kind of a joke to them. Tom Homan went on to say, we're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming. And you can see he's got this attitude. He's got a real fucking problem.
Dude, he's got a fucking head like a ham. It looks like a goddamn ham.
So the judge
He's an angry white
ruled that this was
He's
not
an angry white man.
constitutional. He is a white man. Maybe I need to get a better picture of him.
very angry.
He's very angry in that shot. There's
It
no
looks
doubt.
like he smells like liquor and mothballs.
Probably. So the judge that decreed that he wanted these people back, there's not a whole lot of teeth to this, right? Like, what can the judge do? He can hold the agency or the official in a civil or even even criminal contempt, but it's fining. These guys don't pay fines. They don't care. So there's no real teeth to it. The interesting part was that Trump came out today and said that judge should be impeached because he wasn't doing what Trump wanted. But in a rare twist, John Roberts came out today and pushed back, and he said that in 200 years, they've established that impeachment is not you know, an applicable response when you don't like what a judge's decision is. So this is today's, so we'll see where this goes. We'll see how vengeful Trump wants to be. But when I see people treated like this, they were literally bullying them. They were in shackles. They shaved their
They
heads.
shave their heads, yeah.
And there were some reports today that most of those people are not in a gang.
Yeah, you don't know, just because they're saying that. I mean, they say a lot of things. You don't know who these people were, and some of them may have actually been American citizens. I mean, we just don't know. The only thing we do know is they're going to lie about anything and everything. And I'm glad John Roberts woke up briefly, but dude, like I called both my senators, and our senators suck here in Missouri. I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
Not great.
But hey, I just said, you know, you need to have rule of law. You can't have the executive branch just deciding what they're going to pay attention to and what they're not, what they're going to ignore. Otherwise it's just a dictatorship. So I'm expecting you and your fellow Republicans to stand up to this, because if not, we have no rule of law and we have no democracy. So
yeah,
of course, you know, you have to leave a message. You never get a real person.
Beep.
I would definitely remind the president of El Salvador that the CIA loves killing people like you when they're done with you. So enjoy that oopsies now. You might not even be around in 10 years, you douchebag. So, I mean,
Well,
give me a break, dude. I mean, and oh, by the way, I have a special, like, Marco Rubio. Shame on you for tweeting out jokes and all that stuff when your grandpa was that communist douchebag that they wanted to throw in prison, but somehow he talked himself into getting himself into American. And you've been here for what? A couple generations, Marco? Shame on you. This is not, you wouldn't be here if Trump was president when your parents and your grandparents were trying to get in here.
yeah.
So the fact that you do this stuff, it's embarrassing, dude. You're a beta. You're dry mouth Rubio. You compared dick sizes with an old man, and he won.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God, dude, you're such a loser. I mean, Get a life, dude. Get a life, Marco.
Seriously,
And you married a
Roe's
fucking
fine.
cheerleader, which makes you especially fucking, well, whatever. I hate that guy. I hate.
And to your
immigrants
point
that
about
come
like
over here and get over here and get their American dream or whatever, and then get a little bit of power or join the party where they can basically be a rock star, because Marco Rubio would have just been another Democrat if he would have done the right thing. But in the Republican Party, since you're a little brown and you speak a little bit of Spanish, they're going to make you a rock star if you do all
You're a
that.
DEI.
yeah,
You're DEI. You're their version of DEI, Byron Donalds, all you people.
Mhm.
And the fact that you shit on the American dream like that, and you act like it's not a big deal, and you act like we can just cut off the American dream after you get in, you're the worst type of immigrant, dude. You're the worst. And he's only been here a generation or two, so I'll basically call him immigrant. I don't care. You're the worst type of person. And I wish
talk about him not remembering his history of how he got here, but it's across the board. So we did have a French diplomat saying, "Hey, you guys aren't really following in the spirit of the Statue of Liberty type of thing. Maybe you should give it back." And that's
Trump would send that.
It's too
What's
big.
in the box?
So, of course, we had the press secretary had to chime in, and she's so dedicated to the cute one-liner that she thinks so funny, suggesting that maybe he should appreciate us more because if it wasn't for us, the French would be speaking German, which got
Does
a
she
lot
know
of.
that the French helped us win the Revolutionary War, and we wouldn't have won it without them? Is she really that simple?
Thank you, Gene, because this goes to history. Yes, 1778. What was it called? The reverse card? What was it? The reverse card. Anyway, without the French weapons, without the French army and navy, without the French guns and their support, Washington wouldn't have gotten anywhere where he was going.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have won the revolution here, and we'd be speaking British, frankly.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
I think it's great that she likes to throw her shit out there. Another thing that was pointed out was the Louisiana Purchase. I mean, we basically bought it for nothing from Napoleon. So now you're talking about all this geographical area. We just seem to forget, and this woman's generation seems to think that they made all this shit up. They know no history, which gives them no insight to the future except telling you one-liners and how stupid you are.
Oh yeah. Well, and then she's offended that somebody called out her knowledge of economics the other day or last week. Like,
and tariffs, yes.
yeah, I'm calling out your knowledge of history too.
Yeah.
I don't blame her for not knowing anything. She's 16. I mean, it's just
Clearly not taking AP classes.
She's not in AP history or anything. She's in the short yellow bus class or door to door. Sorry, I got to do that right. My brother's an educator. He gets upset with me when I stereotype that short little bus, but I can't help it because Lauren Boebert rode it every day for her whole life.
Yeah, still riding it.
Woman, so
But yeah, no, KK Katie reminds me of the cheerleader from Fast Times at Ridgemont High during the pep rally when nobody's paying attention. They're all bored. And she's like,
come on, guys, this is hard.
It's really hard to get up here and do this,
really
right?
Hard.
Right.
Really super hard. Yeah, I know, dude. I don't know what to say. I just wish the media would kind of just push back a little, but I've enjoyed my 4 days of not even paying attention to this stuff.
You deserve it.
That first 4 years, just as my brother said, I just wasted energy worrying about shit that I shouldn't have. This 4 years, America, get your shit together. It's not on me.
Yeah. And he might be right, but I think you still got to keep your finger on the pulse just to see that we're not going into anything too crazy too fast, which I'm afraid we are. I wanted to put this up because we don't even notice this stuff. This is Trump in his Oval Office. I mean, look at this bling in here. Everything's got to be gold, right? I mean, it's just crazy. So here's what it used to look like under Biden. A lot less bling, but still a nice fireplace. You got your portraits and everything. Now we've changed the portraits to gold because everything's Trump touches is gold. And here's another angle of it. You can't find any wall space. You know, he's got shit everywhere. I mean, he's almost like a pack rat. And if you look back in the corner, obviously you can see his mug shot that he's super proud of.
Oh, super proud of that.
I mean, that isn't bad. And there's Elon. Looks like he got a rough night's sleep in the Lincoln bedroom last night from his crazy hair. It's like they don't notice. And all I'm saying is that photo is really hard to not notice what's going on in that office. I mean, are those his players' championship trophies? Like, what is that?
I have no idea. One looks like it might be, well, two of them look like they're owls, but
I don't know what it is.
no, I don't know what they are.
Body.
Maybe his parents' ashes, but I mean, this guy likes to gold plate everything. That's just how
It's so
he's
gross.
just cheap, dude. He's like a cheap knockoff of what a billionaire is supposed to be. He's just
Cheap.
everything about that guy is fucking cheap and low budget and
The
just
suits are
gaudy.
ill-fitting. Elon Musk's pants were all wrinkled when they were trying to sell Teslas on the White House lawn.
Teslars.
These people are just, ugh.
Dude, he's sad. He's a sad, pathetic man. He's lost so much money and he's so in debt to the Russians now.
Oh, it's
And
crazy.
he's a con artist. He's a
Putin had
really
him
good
waiting
con artist.
70 minutes today to have his meeting and then just laughed at Trump.
Yeah, dude, they
Insane.
think he's a joke and they don't hesitate to pull on the leash every time they think he's stepping out. I mean, they broadcast that shit all over Russia. All of Russia knows that Trump is a fucking Russian agent, essentially,
He's
or
an
just a
asset.
Russian dude.
Our own CIA knows he's an asset. I mean,
Yeah.
they have to work around it. But what are you going to do? The guy got elected president because, you know, a bunch of minorities are like, I want him. We knew white people were going to vote for him, but a bunch of minorities, a bunch of Latinx and all that, like, I want him.
He's macho.
You got him, and now he's deporting you. Guess who he's not deporting? Me. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know, I could trace my history back hundreds of years to slavery. You guys can trace your shit back a generation or two, and you voted for him. Not smart. Not smart at all.
Not smart at all. And you think that red hat is going to protect you when they come knocking on your door or basically banging it in?
Not
You know.
exactly. But don't worry, they will return you in time because it wasn't your day to be picked up, and that'll cost us 20 grand. Thanks a lot. Waste
But we'll see you tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah,
We're
they're
back
spending
to
a
the
lot of
neighbor.
money, dude. They don't even. Again, Republicans run deficits. What is it? Like all the Republicans ran deficits all those years, and Democrats are the only ones that ever balance the budget, and we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
And you guys literally voted for that, and Democrats had no messaging going. These guys just spend money. They blame us for spending money, but they're the ones who actually spend money, and they just give it to the rich, and then they cut all.
Maybe you didn't hear egg prices are coming down, Gene. So
To what?
all right. Egg prices are coming down, so don't worry.
How much? How much?
I think they were down, I don't know, 40 cents. But
Whoa.
the stuff on the shelves now is not reduced yet because we paid more for those. So, but eventually,
my tires I got were Toyo tires. Those are not American tires.
Those are good tires.
$1,500.
for
I
4,
know there was a tariff on those tires. There's no way those tires should have been $1,500. So you know, I got hit by Trump. We're all getting hit.
We're all getting hit. It's a
Are
shit
you
sandwich, and we're all
enjoy it?
going to take a bite.
I'm not
I
enjoying it.
enjoy it, people. Well, I don't enjoy it either, but I'm not $300 away from being broke, and most of America is. So they better get the shit together and realize they can give themselves stuff, or they can own the libs. And I still haven't to this day figured out why this is some sort of weird sporting contest between Republicans and Democrats. Aren't we all supposed to be in this shit together and just try to get stuff for ourselves instead of trying to win stuff? You're not winning anything by winning. So I don't really understand what you're winning by winning. If you know what I mean. It's weird, but what do you win by winning? You don't win.
Where's your own the libs check? Are you going to pay your mortgage with that?
Yeah, that $5 grand's not coming either.
Oh yeah, no, that's not coming.
And they knew that. They knew that the first time he was president. That's why it's so baffling, dude. He's been president already.
I know.
He ran the largest deficit in history already, and now he's going to do it again, and cut all your programs to do it. And I don't know how bad I'm supposed to feel about it.
They're not even disguising the Medicaid stuff. Again, it's coming out, and after 2 weeks, now they're finally like, "Yeah, we're going to have to. It's entitlement." 2/3 of people in nursing homes are on Medicaid. 1 in 10 veterans, Medicaid. 70 million Americans, vets, seniors, children are on Medicaid. It's not just disabled people, which people like to go after anyway. And it leads us right back to the DEI. To your point, we vote for people that, to put it bluntly, are assholes. We kind of like that. We like that they crack the whip. We used to elect people that had a message that they were going to do something for you, take care of you, be part of your community, and make sure that we could all fulfill our American dream, whatever that might be. And then somewhere we just hit it where it was about money, and I'm going to elect this guy because he's cruel. And we've come full cycle to cruel.
He hates who I hate. And here's the thing, even, when people try to get out of poverty, they make it even harder. I mean, here in Missouri, the voters approved a bill to raise the minimum wage to $20.
No, it was $13.75. They raised it to $15. That's $1.25 an hour. But go ahead, Bill.
Okay, yeah, okay, so 15. All right, great. Which, maybe you can live on that. It's going to be tough, but it's better than it was, right?
Sure.
But the Missouri legislature, in their ultimate wisdom, because they are a Republican supermajority, gets up and says, the voters don't really get to decide that. And some of these members who are business owners get up and say, you don't get to set the prices on what I'm going to charge. And what the fuck? So they just hate to hate. I mean, people that are trying to get maybe get off Medicaid and earn a semi-living wage. Yeah, no, not on my watch. Not when I can make more money. It's just fucking cruelty.
And it was 57% of the people passed this ballot initiative.
Yeah, that's a majority.
It's the will of the people. It should be done. But you're right. They were saying this isn't fair to business. And then it turns out.
Or my business. How is it? How do you get to have a vote when you're a business owner?
Well, you shouldn't, but they can guide us in the direction. And they failed because 57% wanted this. It's not too much.
Yeah. They don't know what they're talking about.
And
I own a business.
What they said was, you voted for me. I'll handle it as I see fit because you voted for me.
And you look at these people getting up like, I wouldn't fucking trust you for anything. I wouldn't let you walk my dog, you fucking ugly bitch. Sorry.
Jeez.
I'm a little worked out.
I get your point, though. I want to come back to DEI because it seems to be this theme that we just can't get away from. I guess it's just easy to blame. But once again, and part of my happy ending is this, but once again, the DEI, we took these Native American code talkers and we took them off any archives. No trace of these people.
Wow. These guys have already had a Hollywood movie. How are you going to erase that?
Yeah. Nicolas Cage was in it.
I know, dude. Trump's the worst, man. That guy he's an awful human being.
Well, and just a little bit of background on that. World War I, World War II, they were huge. They sent these messages during the First War. It was this first group, the Choctaw, and they used their language. It was so successful in World War I that the Japanese and the Germans sent people over to study Native American languages because they couldn't figure that shit out. Then we go into the Second World War and we start using the Navajo Indians. And they weren't just sitting in an office. These guys are out in the field. They're part of combat. There were over 400 of them. And it was a huge success for us because nobody could break the codes.
Yeah. Well, and these guys all had handlers too, who were instructed if they were captured to make sure that they shot them so they couldn't be tortured into giving anything away.
That's crazy.
It's fucking crazy. And then now you want to erase these guys and the contributions they made.
And until America gets its shit together, I'm all for no minority, no woman, no trans, no gay, don't even bother joining the military. Let white boy Pete Hegseth get his skeleton, his awesome crew of whatever.
Something warriors. I forget what it was.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, the scary part of that is, though, then you get a bunch of guys who are just all think the same, act the same, and who will do anything they're told. Hey, there's a protest going on. We're going to go in and we're going to shoot them. Sure, great idea, boss.
That is a great idea.
I mean,
everybody.
I hope that doesn't happen, but
I hope not either. But dude, there's already been a precedent with it, with the National Guard and at Kent State and Jackson State. So,
I mean, I'm not saying it hasn't happened. If some crazy shit like that happens on a mass scale, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, and the really sad, scary part is that you wouldn't put anything past these people now that you've seen who they are and what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. And I do feel like I see a lot on international press. There are a lot of people taking to the streets and organizing in our country. You're just not really going to see that because the media really doesn't want to present that.
Dude, there was a huge veterans march that I didn't know about, that I missed, that 2 days late, that they didn't cover, that I saw something on TikTok. The mainstream media, someone's like, the mainstream media didn't even cover this huge veterans protest.
That's
They
crazy.
are, they're not erasing just Choctaw and Navajo. They're erasing all the good shit we did. They're just turning into a fascist ass regime of idiots.
Yeah, because history started with Trump.
Well, and on the positive side of that, I mean, today they reinstated almost all functions of U.S. aid, which is one of
Are you
my
serious?
near and dears. Yes, because they said,
How?
well, because the judge blocked it. First of all, he wants these people back to their jobs, and he said that it likely violated the Constitution. And this was a U.S. District Court in Maryland. I mean,
what's
that's a
Trump
nice
about?
way of saying you guys broke the fucking law.
What's Trumpy
So-
Bear gonna do about it?
So we'll see how fast that comes back. But I do feel like the steps are there. The same thing, and I won't. I'll wait for it. I did see some positive news just as far as the legislation and the judicial are at least being a little bit more proactive. You see AOC's out there quite a bit talking. I know Schumer canceled his book tour, and it wasn't because he wanted to get back to work. He was afraid people were going to come out and harass him, which they were.
Right.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Who gives a shit about his book anyway? You out of your mind?
Good trouble can be.
Did he call it "We Will Win"?
Good trouble can be against a Democrat or Republican. It doesn't matter if they're not doing their jobs.
Yeah.
You go out and you harass them in public spaces. That's what good trouble is. You go out and give them no peace. You don't let them eat. You don't let them go have a drink at a bar. You let them keep their butts at home and be isolated and think about, being a timeout, you little bitch.
Yeah.
That's what you need. And Chuck Schumer, by the way, I heard some snippet today about it. I win Senate races. No, you don't, dude. You lost in 2024. What are you talking about? You need to go away. I mean, just to sit there with the arrogance of senators, dude, is just sit there and go, I know how to win Senate races. No, you don't. No, you don't.
You know who does? Bernie does. Bernie Sanders
Well,
knows how to win, and he's an independent.
But he's too old, man. Dude, who's going to replace Bernie? He's too old.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, though, I mean, get behind Bernie, because here's a guy that he could have won. A lot of these MAGA people would have voted for Bernie because he's a populist who understands progressiveness as well. I mean, dude, it's just such a no-brainer.
Why doesn't Bernie have understudies or people like? Why doesn't he have a group of young guns?
He did. And the Democrats in 2016, and I was reading a really interesting article. I haven't finished it yet. It was in the New Yorker on, how Trump got all these young MAGA bros on board, right? Going through podcasts like Joe Rogan and all those douchebags. There's one dude, and his name escapes me. He's in LA. He's a Twitch dude. He's very popular, and he's like a progressive bro. Right? He's like, I'm not a Democrat. Democrats are fake as fuck. They're full of shit. My whole thing is gays, blacks, don't be a dick, bro. Don't be a dick. So, but you remember when Bernie ran the first time, he had his Bernie bros, and the Democrats went out of their way to alienate and push these guys aside, call them a bunch of like little mini fascists. But they weren't. They just weren't Democrats, but they had progressive ideas.
Correct.
That's where this party, the Democrats are so fucked up. You could fill a book with all the mistakes and all of the complacency and all of the corruption, cozying up to billionaires again, and just being horrible at their messaging. They've lost sight of it. And so, dude, you're never going to win another election that way. That's why the three of us have left that party and gone independent. They're just ridiculous and they're sad. And hopefully, the true progressives in that party, the young forces, AOC, Crystal, from Texas.
Oh, Jasmine Crockett?
Jasmine, yeah. I don't know why her name escapes me because she's awesome.
She's amazing.
They're going to have to form their own wing because the Schumers aren't doing shit for us. Those 10 idiots that decided they were going to censor Al Green just because they're not doing anything for us. So let them have their little party, break it off, start a new one.
I agree.
But you had the Bernie Bros. You lost them. You fucking kicked them to the curb.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Fair enough. Well, I hopefully yeah, it's on us. Don't expect you for
It's not on us. It's on them. The messaging was terrible. They took everybody for granted. You're sending out Barack Obama to lecture black men. You know,
Oh, speaking of Barack Obama, did you guys read that Jacobin article on him or not? Because I didn't have a chance to.
I have not read it yet.
I didn't get a chance to read it, but I think I agree with the headline.
Okay, I was just curious. We will read it first before we.
It's on my list.
We'll do our homework. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But I agree with you. I just think that we've gotten away from the Republican Democrat thing. I mean, call yourself what you want, but if you're not giving me what it needs to make this country what it's supposed to be, which is anything that we were told growing up, then I'm not that interested.
Yeah.
The Republicans I know aren't going to offer it to me. Maybe the Democrats, but I'm open to anybody that wants to come forward and say, hey, yes, healthcare is a right. Yes, we believe in climate change. Yes, we see something's going on out here. That's what I need. I need my civil liberties. I need my right to free speech. It's not all about the Second Amendment.
It was for me in Kentucky. Quick Rock! Quick Rock! Deliver it all! Quick Rock! It was all about the Second Amendment that night, bro. In Kentucky, it's all about the Second Amendment.
My point is, it's not enough to get me in the cart. Obviously, yes, I want you to have your guns, but you know, when that law was made, they were using muskets, and it took a while to load the fucker. They weren't using AR-15.
Well, and it was made to appease the South and their slave patrol.
Oh, of course, yes.
Which, by the way, if America doesn't know it, the current policing system we have in America with 18,000 police departments is just an extension of the slave patrol.
Yeah.
And convince me otherwise, dudes. It's just, it is what it is. All these sheriffs out there, all these white guy sheriffs out there.
Dude, the sheriffs are, the powers that they have, they are terrifying.
Sheriff's departments. There's no need for county sheriffs. They are, except for the most rural areas, maybe. They are rogue. They are a waste of time, and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
They literally think they are above the law. They run their own little kingdoms. It's like anybody who watched the last season of Fargo, the character that John Hamm played.
Oh yeah.
Those are those sheriffs, dude. They're out there.
They're the worst, man.
And they are fucking terrifying.
Truly.
They used to transfer prisoners and stuff through the sheriff's office, but now these guys all think they're Buford Pusser, walking tall with a big stick.
Yeah, and a lot of them are Christian nationalists. Yeah,
and you only need a GED to be a sheriff, so then they're no brighter than Boebert. So,
well, we've talked about this before.
I don't know if they blew a bunch of people like Kid Rock, like Boebert did, but you know, they're not very smart. So there's a chance. So,
dude, it's crazy.
Speaking of which, have we heard if she's carrying Kid Rock's baby yet?
Not as of yet.
Oh, okay.
Still waiting on that news.
Yeah, give it time.
Has she brushed her teeth since she had relations with him?
No. Why would you?
Keeping her essence of him as long as she can.
Exactly. Speaking of deranged people, this gentleman here, he's a Minnesota state senator.
This is the whitest white person I've ever seen.
That guy's never seen the sun in his life.
Well, maybe
Casper.
Maybe he's a little tanner in his mugshot. He was arrested yesterday for soliciting sex with a 16-year-old that he thought was a 16-year-old girl. It turned out it was the authorities. But this was hours after he co-authored a bill that recognized Trump derangement syndrome as a mental illness. I mean, you want to talk about gaslighting. It's like this guy who clearly has issues, right or wrong, clearly wrong. But to jump back to this Trump derangement thing, just because I don't agree with what Trump says, just because I find that most of it is so extreme and illegal, I'm deranged. I've got some problem. And we have enough time in this country, again, with it being on fire, basically, that we can run to the Senate in Minnesota and like co-sponsor these ridiculous bills. I mean, it's a goddamn waste of time for one, and for
then
two,
go out and try and hook up with a 16-year-old.
Yeah, and who's this guy? I guess he was in a big hurry to go meet up with the with the authorities he thought was a 16-year-old girl. I mean, why do we put up with this stuff? Why is it okay?
That's a good question.
Because the media won't legitimately report on the crap that Republicans do.
All of it.
If they went after Republicans the way they went after Obama for Fast and Furious or Benghazi,
we're wearing a tan
would
suit.
get the knowledge, but they just let this stuff go. It's just
saluting with coffee in your hand.
You can't do that.
The media has no energy for shitting on Republicans the way they shit on Democrats. They just love, going after Democrats. And by the way, it's Democrats' fault because they're so weak and feckless, and they're such punching bags. They're so milquetoast, ineffectual, just a complete waste of time.
It's pathetic,
honestly.
It is. You're absolutely right. I just find it pretty amazing. I did want to jump to this really quickly because it was on my list of things. We always talk about education. We talked about getting rid of the Department of Education, and just a few things going back to the origin of student debt. 1970, Roger Freeman, who also worked under Nixon, got fairly close with Reagan. And I guess he felt that free college would create a dangerous educated proletariat, which is basically just social class wage earners, people that have to work for a living. We don't want them too educated. So they felt like if you could put people into enough debt, tens of thousands of dollars, a good number seemed like $100,000, that we could keep them underneath us, which is kind of where we were at when Uncle Bill's talked about forgiving student debt, so you don't have to come out so deep and away from anything positive. You're working underpaid for one, and then for two, you have this huge debt that seems unsurmountable. I mean, how do you find the balance to want to have a family, raise a family, kids, paying for your
it affects everybody,
whatever? How?
Yeah, it's not good for society as a whole. I mean, you're essentially just like cannibalizing your young people.
And why is that okay? Because they seem to think that
so the wealthy can get wealthier and have more power that they're going to abuse and misuse and just generally bungle.
Yeah, which they have for sure. I don't know. I just found it really telling that it started at the same time that we gutted public education. So now you're taking people that were able to afford college, which you had to come from some kind of background or get some Pell Grants, which were available, and some loans. But then they felt like, hey, with these people getting smart, this could be a problem. So maybe saddle them with debt. So as smart as they are, they still have to work, and they're too busy to see that we're stealing from them.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, and how many years later is this? I mean, we're looking at Freeman was 1970, so you're looking at going on 60 years. Dude, you can accrue a lot of interest on that debt in 60 years.
It's pathetic. It's unconscionable.
It is, and I don't understand why more people aren't outraged by that. But
because you've got so many people, especially like in our generation, they're like, "Well, I paid my student debt; they should too." But dude, college was so much more affordable for us. It was so much cheaper, and like you said, you had Pell Grants. And the loans weren't so outrageous. They weren't going to shackle you like that. It just makes no sense. Yeah, I paid mine, but it's a whole different era. You're talking apples and oranges, and I don't want to see anybody coming out $100,000 in debt.
For sure,
that's ridiculous. That does nobody any good.
That's why I drink. God damn it.
Yeah, I wish I'd have started before this.
You don't even drink anymore. You drink that 0.0 non-alcoholic.
It's true.
Gas. I don't know what is that stuff any good, by the way?
It's good.
Not bad, actually, depending on what brand.
What's the best brand?
I like Blue Moon's really good.
How many calories are in that? Same amount of calories or no?
I think it's less.
I don't know, maybe.
You'd have to like Blue Moon. If you like Blue Moon, the NA Blue Moon is really good.
I do not like Blue Moon.
Then you wouldn't want that.
3 shots. Gross as shit.
The Athletic's good.
What is it? Athlete? What is that, Billy?
Coriander, right?
No. What's the other brand that you take out?
Athletic.
Athletic. They have 5 different kinds. They have like a wheat one that I really like that's hard to find. They have like an IPA. They have a Mexican variety.
They have a lager.
One that's super light that just tastes like water. Not my thing. But
well, this is my brother and I have decided this is our last hurrah. After
Corona makes a good one.
we are going to quit drinking for a bit and start getting in a little better shape because
You're going to upset the listeners, Gene. First, we stopped smoking weed. Now we're not drinking. What's going to be left?
Oh, thank God I didn't have any pot with me when I almost shot a guy. That would not have ended well in Kentucky. So it's been a couple
Probably
weeks since
not.
I smoked. I haven't even really thought about it, dude. You just mentioned it right now. I haven't thought about smoking or we were walking down the street the other day and there was this little mobile cart and it said dispensary. And I asked my brother, I'm like, do they sell? Is weed legal in Nashville? Because I don't know. I haven't looked yet,
That's
but
a good question.
They were selling marijuana products, but I don't know if it was Delta 8, Delta 9, or vape pens only. But and I didn't even bother to check because right now I'm not even smoking. So, but after today, I'm giving up drinking too. So I'll probably go back to smoking or heroin.
Maybe check out those NAs. There are some good brands. If
the Corona's pretty good.
What is
Corona?
Yeah, Corona does have a good one.
Well, that's funny you mentioned that.
I
I drank so many Coronas today that I have to take a piss right now. So talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, just banter. Your brothers. You
I guess that's
do this shit without me. You don't always need me here. I need 30 seconds to take a piss.
You're the glue that holds this whole thing together.
Jeez, I just hit my fucking face on a metal pole.
I guess that's Gene's happy ending.
Getting to deep sound coming from Billy Peru.
Well, this will give you a chance, Uncle Bill, to work on your happy ending. I will start with, I have a couple happy endings. One is not the happiest, but it was one of those things where I saw that Harvard's offering, again, free tuition to those families that make under $200,000. Now,
nice.
Obviously, you have to be Harvard quality to get in. I mean, you have to have the grades, but that they're opening it up to bring in some of those DEIs, if that's what you want to call them. If your family makes less than 100,000, and we've talked about this before, I think Columbia was another one. Is that correct, Gene? Free tuition.
Family, I don't remember.
Families under $200,000.
Oh yes.
And then if it's under 100, they make less than $100,000, they'll cover. It's a full ride that includes tuition, food, housing, health insurance, and travel costs, which is pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. But to the point, and I'm not, patting Harvard on the back or Columbia, but I think they're starting to see this trend where you get these white Nepo kids nonstop coming through. It's just so bland. You don't get any diversity. You don't get any outside the box thinking. These kids come in so comfortable in their own environment that how can you excel? How are you going to compete with other nations that don't pull this DEI shit?
Yeah, and some of them just aren't that smart.
I mean, it's true. I mean,
they're there because of their last name.
Gene, who went to Harvard that you were harping on the other day?
Hegseth?
Yes.
RFK.
No, it was RFK.
Oh, RFK Jr.
Hegseth. He didn't go there.
Didn't JD Vance? Where did Hegseth go?
I don't know. Devil College?
No, Hegseth is an Ivy Leaguer.
Was he?
Yes. He went to Harvard. I'm not bullshitting you. Google that shit right now, Bill. He went to Harvard.
I don't doubt you, Gene.
What
said he went to Princeton.
Princeton.
Oh, okay. My bad. Well, I knew he went to an Ivy. So,
still an Ivy. Yeah. Not as impressive as it used to be.
Not to me. After seeing UPenn graduate every Trump, and only one of them, his dead brother, was legit like a good student.
Yeah.
And all the rest of them were, it was just nepotism and money and whatever. But
look what they went on to do. Nothing.
No.
I mean, they're hucksters, basically.
Well, his sister was a judge, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I'm talking about his kids.
Judge, but then she retired. She was a federal judge for like 40 years, retired, and it was like some judge emeritus that was still working on certain cases, and then all of a sudden had to resign abruptly because they were going to audit Trump's taxes, and they knew she was grifting on the tax money too. The whole Trump family is a criminal enterprise. It doesn't even matter that this chick was a federal judge. She's in on not paying her taxes and cheating the system. That's what the Trumps do. That's what their parents taught them to do. That's what their
That's what
grandparents.
wealthy people do. And, when they do it, they're smart. But, when
Oh, I know.
middle class earners do it, then they're criminals.
And
I
they,
told you guys I have never met a guy that's owned like a mom and pop cash business. I don't care what it is, dry cleaner, bar, restaurant. I have never met a dude that does not skim money and then freaking brag about it. It's so annoying having paid all those freaking taxes in the 90s. And I promise you, my brother, as a principal in a grade school, pays all of his taxes too. It's so annoying to have these guys be registered Republicans bitch about everything they can bitch about that they've seen on Fox News, and they're still cheating the system because they're just low criminals. It drives me nuts, dude. It drives me crazy. You think that's patriotic? Not paying your taxes? Literally, Tupac Shakur talks about how he loves to pay his rent and his taxes, and it makes him feel good and patriotic and American. And these white dudes are like, no. I'm just gonna skim off the top. This is my sauce money. Oh, and I sell weed on the side, by the way. None of that goes to the government. I've seen it for the last 30 years. It's a joke.
It's a
I
joke.
don't know why we have income tax returns. Your damn money should just be taken out of your damn taxes, and it should be just done with. I don't know why we have to mess with tax returns. The way the American system is set up, it really is just set up to exhaust us, confuse us, wear us down, and and make us not realize they're literally ripping us off every single
and we get nothing for it. I mean, socialized countries pay more in taxes, but look at what they get. They get health care. They don't have to worry about that. They said the average American that pays for their own health care pays $7,000 a year.
it's a lot for nothing.
That's me, dude.
For nothing.
Yeah, that's me too. And you don't get shit for it.
It's true.
Right. You get nothing. It's in case shit happens. Like, you just wait to get hit by a bus to use it. Other than that, avoid using it because it's coming right out of your pocket. And that 32 out of 33 Western civilization countries, we're the only one that doesn't have universal health care by design.
And they've managed to browbeat us and brainwash us into thinking, well, that's socialized medicine. We don't need that. We're Americans.
Half of America is on socialized medicine.
Yeah.
156 million Americans on Medicare.
What do you think Medicare is?
Or some sort of socialized medicine. So we're already halfway there. Why don't we just, and Democrats won't message that. We're already halfway there. Let's just finish the job.
We're so close. And, but dude, we have the worst case of Stockholm syndrome. We have been brainwashed into believing we don't deserve it.
Well, I deserve it.
We all deserve it. And that's got to change. That has to change.
And I agree with both of you on that. I'm going to jump to my happy ending real quick.
Okay.
The happy ending for myself, the real one, Harvard was nice and all, but I'm going to put this gentleman up. His name was Major General Charles Calvin Rogers. He was, I think, the first Black Medal of Honor winner. His page, well, he's wounded 3 times in Vietnam. This guy was a badass to begin with. But he was another one where you click on the website and you get this.
Wow.
All his information gone and removed.
Why? He didn't win the Medal of Honor because he was black. He won the Medal of Honor because he won the Medal of Honor. What difference? I mean, what are we talking about? What did they mention, that he was the first African American and that got flagged or some shit? Is that what happened?
Well, just along with all the other DEI that they were taking down, the 26,000 documents coming down from the.
You don't win the Medal of Honor being DEI, by the way. I don't know if anybody ever.
No, you don't.
You idiot Americans, that. I don't know how you win a medal, or a military medal, being DEI. So that's kind of
ridiculous. So take that up with Hegseth. The good news and the happy
DEI hire, by the way.
Happy ending for me was the fact that he's back online. Enough people created such a stink that they were like, "This is out of control," and they had to put the 404 page is no longer. Any information on him, his past, his story. It's all there. So
I can't bring this up with Hegseth. He's drunker than I am right now. He's so
that's because you handle your liquor better, okay?
I do.
Yeah.
And I only drank Corona Premier today, so the lightest of light beers, and I only probably got 10 in me, so I'm good. I got another
thing. I caught you when I did.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, I'm just gonna tell you, I don't mean to be, defile your happy ending. My happy ending was literally taking that piss 5 minutes ago. It was amazing.
That's what I
'Cause I've
said
been
when you
holding
went.
it for an hour, and it was horrible. But and I would have held it for another 5 minutes, but I couldn't. It's just it is what it is. I've had that
You gotta
much.
go when you gotta go.
And I don't know if you guys have noticed. I'm gonna ask my brother right now, Jason. Give me a grade on my mother watches this show.
Okay.
My mother informed my brother verbatim quote, somebody needs to talk to Gene about all of this swearing. So I made a concerted effort today to not swear as much.
You did great.
Every
You
time
did better
was
than I
swearing,
did.
my brother would hold up a finger. So I think I swore about 4 early, too late, 6 to 8 times. Mom, that's the best I can do. I'm working on it. I'm a cusser. We're Gen X. It's called Gen X rated. She says I lose the message because I cuss so much, but she won't tell me directly because she still thinks I'm 13-year-old Gene and I'm gonna have a temper tantrum. And I'm telling my brother, I'm like, why didn't she just tell me, dude? I'm not 13. It doesn't bother me. I'm like, I'm brand new at this. I'm trying to get better at this. I would like to cuss less. It's just, but I'm talking to my two buddies like I'm at a bar talking to my two
That's
buddies.
how we talk.
That's kind of how we talk, but I am literally working on it. I made a concerted effort for my mom, Lois Miller, not to cuss too much today. I hope that was her happy ending.
Golf clap.
I think I only dropped 2
Nicely
F-bombs.
done.
I've dropped as many as 50 F-bombs before in a podcast.
In the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully she's okay with that. And oh, by the way, you can just text me directly and tell me to quit cussing so much. I'm not 12. It's okay. I don't get upset. I spent a whole weekend in Kentucky almost shooting hillbillies. I don't get upset anymore. I roll with the punches. Whatever happens, happens. I'm too old to with the world burning the way it is, I don't get upset about little tiny personal whatever. My life's good. I'm okay.
You handled it amazing, Gene. I was freaked out the minute you blew that tire and showed me the picture of the 44 PSIs down to 22 and dropping. It was insane.
Oh, it was and it was raining it was crazy. But yeah, it was I can handle that stuff a lot better now. I mean, I guess my mom still, your parents raise you and then they have that picture in their head of raising you and how obnoxious you were. Yeah, I get it because when my daughter comes home, she just came home from spring break, and she starts, busting my balls about something. I'm like, here we go again with mine. And she's 25, but I've always handled it better than my mom. Like Maya's Maya, and I can take it with a grain of salt pretty well. But Lois, don't worry. You can tell me directly if I'm cussing too much. I will make a concerted effort to work on all of my cussing. And thank you for listening to our show. And get all your boomer friends to listen too, because they're ruining the country. No, I'm not her friends per se, just boomers in general. But yeah, she's listening. She likes our material. She just says, I just way too many F-bombs, and I'm ruining the message, and I take that seriously. So I truly am working on it. Hopefully I did better today. I don't know if you guys.
I think you did great.
I thought you did great. You did better than I did.
Up a number. Like within the first minute, he's like 1. I didn't realize I cussed. I was like, what I can say? He's like, you cussed. I was like, oh my god. But I'm working on it.
Well, and to your point, we try to put the message out so people can think for themselves, get some information that has source backing, and try and right this wrong that we're all heading down together. Have nots.
Hey, by the way, when should I smoke again?
As soon as you get home.
No, I'm on a roll right now, dude. I want to roll with it. I want to quit drinking. Maybe, dude, I really want that. I want that virgin. But I want it to be like if my brother has never touched marijuana, never smelled, never looked at marijuana in his life, never done an illicit drug in his life. He's just
2 weeks.
Yeah, you guys say that, but I'm unique. Remember, I'm the guy that failed a drug test after I quit smoking weed on April 1st.
Quit fucking with me, Everett. I'm high as fuck.
April Fool's Day. I always used to quit smoking pot, going, that's 3.5 months before training camp. No problem. I passed that, and I failed 2 drug tests quitting on April 1st. So my body's unique. I don't know if I'll have that virgin high again if I don't take more time off. I think I might need a month off.
A month? Yeah, a month sounds pretty reasonable.
I would be okay with 3 weeks. but
Yeah.
I'm not sure after
Maybe
that.
3 weeks and see
You
how you
just don't
feel.
like me sober. That's
That's not true.
I can't tell the
and
difference.
my wife definitely. I mean, the whole reason I smoke every single day is so she can tolerate me and not divorce me. Like legit. Like she cannot handle a non-stoned Gene because I'm intense and I just but I'm doing well. I mean, I'm doing well now. I've been off it. How many?
I think you're doing great.
A couple weeks ago, right?
In a couple weeks, yeah.
All right, yeah. I mean, I feel fine. I haven't thought about it at all because I was on a steady. I probably smoked every day for 5 straight years. I imagine maybe 10. I don't know. There's a day here, a day there when I was out of town or something. But
What's in
I
the
don't know.
schedule?
I'm eating less. I think I'm losing weight. I'm definitely eating less. I might be drinking slightly more. That's a problem. But I'm working on that and cussing, and then you're gonna see a sober Gene on Thursday. I'm gonna be back in Ohio, and well, I might stop up in Kentucky and drop some rats off in that chick's office that stole my $50. But after that, I'm gonna go back to Ohio, and then I'm gonna do a completely sober broadcast with no booze and no weed in me, and it's gonna be amazing, and no cussing. And
Oh my gosh. Baby steps, Gene, for God's sake, man.
Yeah. That's the bar set. You're setting the bar
I
pretty
guess
high.
Uncle Bill's
Lois is right. I cuss too much.
Uncle Bill's gonna have to pick up the slack, I guess. We're gonna have to start getting him really pie-eyed before the podcast.
I can do that.
Should be doing bong rips before we even start. It upsets me that you both fake like you don't partake in THC because you both do.
No,
and you live on a throne of lies.
Right. Where's Uncle Bill's happy ending, for God's sake?
My happy ending is I'm going to pop a gummy after this.
What are you guys doing tonight?
I have ice. I'm going to play hockey, so I can't do that.
I was gonna, but I skated Sunday and last night, and dude, my shoulder is just fucking killing me. So
well, this is the first I'm hearing. So Uncle Bill's off.
I told you I was maybe off.
Yeah, I know.
I might go to a hockey game tonight. St. Louis Blues Predators.
Oh yeah, dude, you should.
It's within walking distance. I don't think the tickets are too expensive. My brothers are.
No, Nashville stinks this year, so you can get good seats.
So
we might get some good players. The Blues are pretty entertaining to watch.
That's cool. Well, it's just right around the corner. It's within walking distance, so
you should definitely do it. You'll have a good time.
Cool.
All right. Well,
no, and I did.
Go ahead.
My original happy ending was I saw a turkey in my backyard today, and I live in an urban area. And I saw him on Saturday too. It was a big ass turkey. He's just wandering around back there.
You know, Ben Franklin wanted to make the turkey the national bird, not the bald eagle.
He probably should have.
No, I'm serious because he thought.
Oh, I know. No, I knew that.
They're badasses. They're majestic. They're tough. They don't take any shit. And he thought of bald eagles as sort of like vultures, as like scavengers. And he just didn't get it. So
and they look mean.
Well, the bald eagles are pretty. The bald eagles out in the wilderness are pretty cool. We have a place here called Grant's Farm, and they have the bald eagles here. They're like giant. Where's my thing? Giant fat birds. They're like big, and they're chained to a log.
Oh,
I mean,
chained. That's terrible.
That's just sad.
And it is sad because
birds,
they're super plump. Well, they can walk along the log, but they're not taking off. And I don't think they could fly anyway. They were so obese. They look like fat elephants.
No, they are too fat to fly. I've read about those birds. Remember, they had to get that one bird in shape a few years back to fly. He couldn't fly anymore.
That condor, right? Was it a California condor?
Okay, whatever it was so fat it couldn't fly, and they had to put it on a diet. I don't know. It was one of those stories. Anyway, the condor wasn't going to be the national bird anyway, and I kind of like Ben Franklin's idea of making the turkey.
I think that's a neat idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would work.
They're pretty cool.
I mean, this dude had his tail feathers spread out, and he's huge.
Kendall had a bunch in her front yard. I want to say there were like 6 or 7, and they're pretty big. And when they put their plume up, giant. I mean, I wouldn't mess with them. I was a little bit intimidated.
I mean, I just happened to look out and I saw that. I was like, whoa, I did a double take because you don't expect to see that.
Not till Thanksgiving.
Why did you go out, you big pussy?
What's that?
Why did you go pet it?
Dude, I don't think he was having any of that.
Yeah, he would have kicked your ass. I'm just kidding. All right. Well, anyway, I got to get back to drinking.
You better.
You guys know I never miss a podcast. That's why.
Oh, I know.
Appreciate the effort, Gino, even though you
Yeah,
didn't
man.
know what
And
time
just-
zone you're in.
Glad you're still with
Last 2
us.
days. My
And the
ankles
time zone thing. So thank you very much.
My Achilles is ready to blow. I gotta pee again.
All right.
And I'm kind of hungry.
Tell Jason we said hey.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
What's up, Jason? The good news is there's plenty of places to eat, so you're gonna be
You
okay.
said, hey, fellas.
All right. You guys have fun tonight,
He said,
Gene.
quit cussing so much, Bill.
Oh,
All right,
fuck.
bro.
All right.
See you Thursday.
All right, guys.
All right. Have fun.
All right, bye.